Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of the OutLoud Culture Podcast. This week we're going to be talking about Deadpool again. Okay, does anybody want to join in now?
I was waiting for
You
that.
didn't introduce yourself.
I was waiting for you to go first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, alright, well, I guess I'm Vlad Pavlov, happy to be back. It's been forever, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about Deadpool.
And I'm Alice Denmark, and I'm back to talk about Deadpool and how it went down in England, I guess. What's in my opinion?
And I'm Alex Shannon. I'm by default the host of this little show here. And yeah, we're going to be talking Deadpool. So, what was y'all's first experience with the character?
Oh, man, I can't even remember. It's been, I've always, known Deadpool, so it's hard to say what my first experience was.
Mine was probably about 5 years. I don't know how long ago, but I was at high school, and I used to watch like gamers on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and one guy who did the playthrough of the video game, and
Hang on,
like absolutely loved it.
I'll pull that up. I don't think that was that long ago.
Well, it felt like a long time ago.
Yeah, Deadpool video game was
Probably
released, and then
at
it
least
was,
at least 3 years ago, minimum.
yeah, that sounds about right. It was
Yeah,
released, and then it was taken down for a while because of some weird
because of the
claim,
deal
and
with
it
Activision.
finally popped back up on Oculus. Yeah,
Because it was the same thing that
and then
took
it
down
finally popped
Marvel
up on
vs.
next gen
Capcom.
months ago.
Is Activision
Yeah,
still
that's
publishing
when I
it?
last heard about it.
Yes, it was released on next gen.
Huh.
So it is now on Xbox One and PS4, so it's re-released.
Yeah, that's weird. You know, Marvel is being kind of dumb lately with their licensing stuff. But
Well, they have to take what they can right now.
mm. Yeah, I think it was. I think my experience with the character is like basically the same. I just didn't. You know, my first direct exposure was the first Wolverine movie.
Yeah, that's a bad first experience right there. You got Ryan Reynolds. At least he was good as Wade Wilson, before, but everybody says that. But it's true. He was good as
Yeah,
Wade Wilson before he got the Deadpool powers, and then, yeah, that went downhill quick.
and then the other guy played him for
I
absolutely no
totally,
Hmm.
reason.
I totally forgot Deadpool was in the Wolverine film. Now that you mention it, I now remember. Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I didn't know that that was supposed to be Deadpool the first time I saw it because they don't really. They do call him like the Deadpool in there somewhere, but my mind skipped over that and just the character seemed not Deadpool, so I
That
didn't
is
put
Ryan
two and
Reynolds,
two
though, isn't
together.
it?
Well,
That is Ryan Reynolds.
they called him Wade.
Yeah,
So
they did call him Wade because he says, "I see they finally found a way to slow your mouth or keep you quiet, Wade," or something like that.
yep. Yeah, that was the what did they call that team? Alpha Flight Weapon X program or what?
Yeah, Weapon X.
It was the well, no, wait, no, Wolverine was Weapon X, so they must have been Alpha Flight then.
No, yeah, I don't remember. I've seen that movie once.
It's like okay, yeah, I've seen it once too, but uh, I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page here, and it says this gameplay section here is kind of odd. Deadpool is an action beat 'em up with new combos becoming available to Deadpool as he progresses. The game, which is rated mature, frequently breaks the fourth wall by having Deadpool verbally interact with a player or based on, and I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to be a typo or not, sure, skill and progress. I think that's supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I never played the game. I saw a lot of the gameplay, especially I've seen all the cutscenes. The cutscenes are great, but when I hear the actual gameplay is kind of terrible. It's just basic and doesn't really do much of anything.
From what I've heard, it's like almost like Devil May Cry, only not quite as unique.
Not, yeah.
It's more like God of War, but if you get that.
Yeah, it's like a hack and slash. It's not really anything special. But yeah, the cutscenes are great. Like the cutscenes are very Deadpoolish, and
I
yeah, I
presume
loved it.
that
And
I presume that Deadpool wound up killing the employees of High Moon Studios since they didn't make the most awesome game ever.
No, but he did threaten them a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was elements of that game that I'm glad that they implemented for Deadpool's character that I was disappointed in the movie. That kind of a transition here. Uh, like the thing that I always loved about Deadpool, and I think most people do, is the schizophrenia, the multiple personalities, and he has the bubbles come up all the time, and they're
Yeah.
talking to each other, and that's one thing I've really missed in the movie. They make a slight reference to it at the very end of the movie, but
Maybe like his schizophrenia, like if they make a second one, that could develop.
yeah,
He's being
that's the only thing I can
now.
guess
'Cause
is he
it,
hadn't
it
quite
was,
developed it yet.
yeah, because it was like an origin, like his origin story. So like
Yeah.
it should have developed maybe the more crap he goes through.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they can get that through. And with Ryan Reynolds being such a huge fan, I'm sure he'll push for everything that Deadpool stands for. So hopefully that'll be one of them.
Yeah. So, so, generally, what did you guys think of the movie?
I loved it. Like I skipped the review on this because I've been out trying to do stuff, but yeah, I really love this movie. I thought it was really good. The action was very well directed and it was very funny. The only really downside I have to say is I didn't think the villains were all there. There were certain characters. Ajax I didn't really care for. Angel Dust you barely got to see anything, and then the old lady just kind of there. Those are my only real complaints. Is just some of the characters weren't really drawn out enough, and I didn't really care about the villains.
Was Angel Dust supposed to be the what's her name, the MMA girl?
Yes.
Okay.
The moody teen.
No, that
Oh,
was
one,
Megasonic,
the one with the
Negasonic Teenage
one.
Warhead. That was who she was.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you mean the evil woman with the big boobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
It's a way to put it. But yeah, that was her. That was Angel Dust, and yeah, like her character's just not drawn out. And again, Ajax is just kind of there.
Well,
And
he's
same
also
with the old
kind of
lady.
inconsistent. He says, I don't feel anything, but then I'm doing this because I want to. And I'm like, okay, is he screwing with them, or did the writers really not think about that?
Yeah,
Because
I don't know. It's
you
just
kind of start wondering about that after a while.
yeah. There was just a couple of things like again, they're just minor nitpicks, but for the most part, yeah, it was a very good movie. I enjoyed like every second of it.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I love the film. I found it so funny. But the only thing that I got a bit annoyed at, apart from the guy sitting next to me, who was so annoying. But
Yeah, I had that too.
he's one of those guys who are like they know their Marvel, like they know it, and if it's not correct or whatever, he'll speak out to his friend next to him, and I was like, just shut up, I'm trying to watch the film. But I didn't. I
Hmm.
got a bit fed up of the because obviously it's from present day to flashback to present day to flashback a little bit. I was like, don't do this for the whole film. I'm so glad I didn't because I was getting a little bit bored in the middle because I thought if it's flashback all the way through, I'm gonna be so annoyed.
I
But
actually really
it
like
was okay.
I actually really like the way they did that, how they did the flashbacks. It's a good way to get the origin story in there without having us too overwhelmed by the origin story. It's kind of like the way Man of Steel did it, where they did flashback over to his childhood and how this happened, and it then tied in with the story. I think Deadpool did a good job of that too, where they did it just long enough so we see what's going on and we get the background for what's going on at that moment, and
Yeah.
then we get back to the action and the comedy. And I thought that was really a great way to do it.
My
Like I liked the
only
flashback, but I got a bit worried. I was like, please stop, and then it stopped. I was like, oh thank God. But everything else was fantastic. Loved it.
I got a bit confused by the time scale of it all because I wasn't entirely sure how long ago that stuff was supposed to be happening because it was like, okay, they say it's been like a year, but it could be almost 2 years, but is this happening? What exactly uh how long was Wade with what's her name? How was that like years or was that just like a year or
I would assume by the holiday montage that they did, it was just over that 1 year. I think that was just, it went through the relationship from the beginning to a good chunk of a year or whatever, until he finally proposed. It was right after that. The big question mark is how long he was in the program.
yeah. So there's however long he was in the program plus the year of him. Um, oh, so it would be about 2 years, I think, because remember what the girl said at the end? Because wasn't it like 2 years?
I
Because
Yeah.
can't remember.
well, Wade said that he spent a year hunting for Ajax, and he then, so that would mean he was in the program for maybe not a whole year, but definitely somewhere around
Oh
that
yeah, because
point.
you have to count how long he was in the program. You have to count how long until he was out of the program until he actually found it where he was. Because we got just out through a montage of how he found him, so
Hmm.
we don't know how long that montage took of interrogating everybody.
Well, he said that uh, the last year of my life I've spent on this
Yeah,
plan.
that does sound right.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked about the film was the opening credits.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that
man,
was
I
That
awesome.
kept hearing about that. Like every review I'm watching, everybody's like, "I love the opening credits." I'm like, "How are opening credits good?" And like when I saw it, I'm like, "That's how."
but it was
It
just
just did it
because
so well.
and people who like appreciate film just sit in there and just spoke the truth. And when it said about the director being an asshat and then how the writers are the true heroes, are just like yes,
Yeah, that was it was really well done. Like I was impressed by it, and you got that Ryan Reynolds put a jab at himself in there, and yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
all the Easter eggs and the
Yeah,
interconnected
the Hello Kitty, because that's the only thing that Deadpool Twitter follows.
it was just it was like the icing on the cake. That bit it was just I love it.
It was just from the opening credits, you knew exactly what you were getting into, and I thought that was
Yep.
really well done. And again, I was confused when I kept hearing everybody talking about that. I'm like, it's opening credits. How are they? But once you see it, you understand.
That's that's one of the very few times I've ever seen where a trailer is a 100% representative of what you're getting in the movie.
Yeah,
Because
Definitely.
yeah,
even
because
other Marvel movies are are usually cut really weird in the trailers
well, it's
so that
especially
they're
the early trailers for Marvel
yeah,
movies.
so that they're almost
It's like
out of order.
they they don't know the tone a lot of the time with like Marvel movies. Ant-Man, I have a feeling Captain America's doing this. Avengers 2 did it, where they don't know exactly what the tone is, so they start off kind of dark. And as the trailers get on, they get progressively less dark. And yeah, like I said, we got that with Ant-Man. Ant-Man, we couldn't quite figure out what it was, and then we started to get jokes. And Avengers, it started off all serious. Then we kind of saw the jokey side of Ultron, and now Captain America. That first trailer was pretty dark, and from what I'm hearing is at D23, the trailer was a lot lighter. So
Hmm.
it's just something Marvel does. But yeah, Deadpool did a good job. We It was a jokey movie, and that's what the trailer wanted to show off, and that it wasn't a regular superhero story.
Did you see the Baraka Pool figure that was on top of Wade's Wham album?
Yeah, I saw that.
This
Yeah, I
is
was gonna
my
debate
prized
it.
possession, and then he throws it in the trash.
Mhm.
I liked that when he was like, obviously, because the whole deal with meeting his girlfriend again, apart from the fact that he lied about being dead and stuff, was the fact obviously he was disfigured. And then the bit when he was like taking off the mask, like a big deal out of it, like every like classic superhero film was like, like the reveal, big reveal. And then he has the Hugh Jackman mask, and I'm just like, yes.
What was that? A Hugh Jackman mask? I thought that was a Ryan Reynolds mask.
No, it was Hugh Jackman.
No, because he like there's like constant jokes on there like about him loving Wolverine and stuff like that.
Yeah, if
I
you it,
noticed it because Hugh Jackman is like my all-time favorite actor, so I was like, oh my god, yes! I was so happy, and it was
so
just
hoping, I was so hoping for a real cameo by him though.
same. But aren't they thinking now about making the next Wolverine film a 15 or like an
Yeah, they're
R-rated?
making that R-rated.
Yeah, Wolverine 3 is gonna be R-rated, and Hugh Jackman has said that he wants to cameo in Deadpool 2. So
What
He's
I
better.
really want to see is somebody set up this a while back where have Deadpool in one of the PG-13 X-Men movies and have him saving up for using the one F-bomb that they can
and
use in the
someone else
entire
jumps
movie,
in
and
and
then
ruins it.
Wolverine uses it, and he's like, "No!"
Yeah, I heard about that. That would be awesome. But I just read this morning. They're saying that there's no plans for an X-Men crossover as of right now.
Deadpool was an X-Men crossover, though.
But yeah, they're saying that they don't actually want him in an X-Men movie as of right now. They said it might happen in the future, but right now there are no plans to actually put him in an X-Men movie.
Well,
Well, the
don't put him in
current X-Men,
Apocalypse, but
well,
Oh yeah,
put him in
definitely
the
not
next one.
Apocalypse.
because like they aren't like the current X-Men ones. They're like a trilogy. Like they're doing three of them, aren't they?
I
And they'll go
think
back
so.
forwards.
I have no idea. That as he said in the movie, the timeline is really confusing for the X-Men movies.
Yeah. But when then they released the first X-Men film, they said it was a trilogy. So I don't know unless they're gonna like expand on that or go back to the present or whatever. I don't know because it's rather confusing.
Back to the present future.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited for Apocalypse, but yeah, I lost track of the timeline a long time ago, and now I'm just kind of this is a
Well,
good movie. That's
after
it.
after the second X-Men, the X-Men 2 and X-Men 3 become like not important because Jean comes back. Is it Jean?
Jean. Well,
Well,
okay,
all of them
everybody
from
died
X-Men
in
3.
X-Men 3.
Yeah, everybody dies in X-Men 3, and then that was rewritten with what was that Days of Future Past?
Days
That
of
was
Yeah,
rewritten.
yeah.
Part of it was
X-Men 2 and
rewritten
3
with
were like,
the Wolverine because they were
yeah.
just Wolverine was just like, Professor, how are you here? And he's like, doesn't matter, or let's go, gotta save the world.
Yeah, it's the timeline. Yet I don't understand the whole. Again, it's just good. If you don't think about it too hard, they're good movies, and then when you think about it, you're like, wait a minute, what? I don't understand.
Oh, that's
I
like the
think
only problem with them is that the time scale is a bit off because we don't even, at this point, we know that first class and we know that it goes one, two, three. Then there's the original origin for Wolverine, and then
Which that's
there's
no longer canon either.
well, yeah, but that
That
I know is
that
that
was
there's the
rewritten.
original timeline, which is Origins Wolverine in one, two, three, the Wolverine Days of Future Past, and then there's the
uh,
then there's the prequel timeline, which goes First Class, Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, it just yeah.
it's very confusing.
Yeah, I'm glad they did bring that up in Deadpool when they're pulling around because this timeline's just so confusing.
I think Deadpool's kind of a good character, so like they can just say, right, we know there's plot holes, so we're gonna get this character to just say all the plot holes, then it sort of like rules out everything else bad about
Yeah.
it. Like
I
cover their
think the only
bases.
thing we can be sure of is that Deadpool takes place after Days of Future Past.
Well, he knows about the other um Professor X, so
Yeah.
he knows there's two of them.
But that's because of the fourth wall bit in it, right? Because
Yeah.
there's fourth wall, so then he's with us,
Yeah.
and then so yeah, fine. Totally makes sense.
But going back to the opening credit sequence, that was almost like James Bond-esque.
You think?
Sort of,
It was
yeah.
it was the detail of because obviously he was grabbing that guy and he grabbed him by the pants and was like giving him a massive wedgie, and it's just like if you weren't paying attention to what he was doing, you wouldn't have noticed it and got the joke. But
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it because it just said like hot guy, moody teen, CGI character. Because every film now in superhero films had the CGI character like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my one complaint, was that Colossus isn't always made of metal. He can turn that off. So
Well, yeah, but that was more of a problem with the actual production where
yeah.
there wasn't one actor playing Colossus, so
Yeah, they
couldn't
had the
really
mocap
turn
guy,
him.
they had the and they had the voice. Cuz
Well, they said it took 5 actors just to make Colossus, so
Jesus.
there wasn't an actual basis model for him to go off of, so it would have been very hard to do it that way. Yeah, other than that, they did a good job with Colossus, though.
Yeah, that
I liked how they
I think
really
he
captured the
looked right.
character.
yeah.
He looked right. His character was perfect, and then of course he had the accent. So
You
I
know,
like how Deadpool first when he goes to the X-Men base. And he's like, oh, it's funny how like Fox couldn't pay for any more X-Men people. Sort of bringing on that plot hole. It's like, yes.
yeah,
you know what would be it'd be great is if in the extended edition on home video. I have to say home video because this DVD and Blu-ray is way too on the tongue.
Yeah.
is if Hugh Jackman and just walks down the stairs and he's like, guys,
Well, see, now that they're saying that Tim Miller has said that there will not be a director's cut of the movie.
yeah, that's unfortunate. But
Yeah,
then
he
again,
originally
that's
said that he
like
was
it's
going
like what
to.
Ridley Scott said with his with Alien. That is his director's cut. So
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He says we got everything in that we wanted to. There's no reason for a director's cut.
I kind of want Wolverine and Deadpool just to have like because they have a clear like little bromance connection type thing going on, and just like say in the second Deadpool, Hugh Jackman like cameos and he's like trying to make like he's being all broy and chummy, and then like Wolverine's just like get off me, just get the fuck off me. That'd be so cool.
Well, I think we'll get enough of that with Cable in the next movie.
oh yeah, I cannot wait to see Cable on the big screen because
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Cable is my favorite. I wouldn't exactly call him member of the X-Men. He's my favorite mutant.
Yeah, he's so straight and it works so well with Deadpool. He's the straight man. Like he just plays it so well, and Deadpool could play off of it. And I can't wait to see how well they do with it in the next one.
Is he sort of like the straight talking like soldier who doesn't take any crap? And then
hmm
he's got like his little kid brother being an idiot, sort of.
Um, Stephen Lang is trying to get that part. I think he'd be amazing for it.
I think Stephen Lang would be great for Cable.
Yeah, he's been out there and he's been trying to get the part. So I'm really hoping they do. When I first heard that, I'm like, he's perfect.
Yeah, I mean he looks the part.
Yeah. And we saw his like military guy in Avatar. You don't really have to change that character that much.
I can
Yeah.
I can just imagine him saying, body slide by 5.
I'm excited for the next one.
And then I just saw they're confirming Domino for Deadpool 2 as well.
Who is Domino? I can't remember.
Oh, man,
Googling it.
she's man, who is she? She's one of the X-Men. She's Deadpool kind of has like a crush on her, where he's explicitly trying to get her, but it's weird.
Mm.
What if his
'Cause it-
what if his girlfriend? Because obviously he's got a girlfriend. If she is coming into it, what if his girlfriend turns into Domino?
yeah, see, it's confusing because yeah, that could happen. And they're saying that she's someone else. I forget who they're saying that she might also be. And then of course you have his whole story with Death, where him and Death are together. So
They said that Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't playing in Khan either. So,
yeah, and Christoph Waltz wasn't playing Blofeld. Yeah, this happens a lot.
and Ryan Reynolds totally wasn't playing Deadpool in Blade, yo.
Well, now he's saying he was.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I think the reception of Deadpool generally globally has been like phenomenal. Like
I,
the whole
it,
advertising and everything has just been top notch. Like it's hard to get a successful film come out at the beginning of the year, like February time.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
and I'm
it's
glad that it did so good because now this is opening the path for more. Now studios are realizing they're like, we can take more chances. They're like, superheroes aren't just for kids.
yeah,
There are
and
people
guess
our
what was
age and
an
older who love it. So
guess what was
let's
announced
give it a
right
shot.
afterwards? R-rated
Wolf,
hit cut of Batman
Wolverine
versus
3.
Superman.
And
R-rated
that too.
Wolverine 3. And it's like, okay, we're not going to get the R-rated cut in theaters, but we're still going to get
But
it.
yes, and maybe this will be a good chance for Ben Affleck. Kevin Smith is bringing this up a lot. Kevin Smith wants Ben Affleck to do an R-rated Batman, where we actually see him breaking bones and the blood and see crazy Joker. And
Well, that's the
I think
thing is
that,
that if you made a movie out of the Arkham games, you'd get an R-rated Batman.
and we're kind of seeing that the end of the last trailer or the beginning of the last trailer for Batman vs Superman, where we see him. That is straight out of an Arkham game.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully
Um,
this is gonna be a big renaissance, I think, for R-rated films, and this movie's breaking like every record out there right now. So
you know what I would like to see out of, R-rated superhero films is, go for an R-rated Spider-Man versus Carnage movie.
yes, that also opens up for Carnage. I know we were just talking about this the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
Where we were like, I think I even said, I'm like, why would we want to write an R-rated Spider-Man movie? And you were like, Carnage. I'm like, that is a good idea.
Yeah,
We can
that's
finally get him on screen now.
yeah. Cletus Cassidy alone is like, he's not quite Hannibal Lecter levels of intellect, but
But
definitely,
it'll be perfect.
it's definitely as brutal as say,
I don't
one
think
of the
we'll get.
one of the uh, one of the killers in the Hannibal Lecter movies.
Hmm. Like, I don't think we'll ever get like an R-rated Marvel movie, but I think this will open up more for Fox and Sony's Marvel movies, and then for DC because DC's already got that dark. I'm still very surprised Suicide Squad isn't rated R.
I was surprised Man of Steel
So I think
wasn't
this will help open.
because I mean, just based on the content alone,
That was so good.
It's Superman and twisting the villain's head off at the end, and you'd think that would have
But they didn't show blood. So
well,
yeah, I think this will be a good step for movies now that they can realize they can take the risk of R, and it's already starting to slowly happen with
mhm.
Wolverine 3, which I know Hugh Jackman has been wanting to get an R-rated Wolverine forever, and now he's finally getting it, even though they're claiming it's not because of Deadpool. We all know that that's
We
not
all
true.
know that it is because of Deadpool. Yeah. Now, Alexander Trevini uh, sent us this video, not this video, this article that James Gunn wrote. Well,
James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, if
yeah,
you guys don't know that.
yeah, okay, video playing, can't. Okay, there it goes. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but James Gunn basically said that after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, every every project that was like Guardians of the Galaxy was getting greenlit. Just like after God of War, every game like God of War was getting greenlit. And after the success of Deadpool, you're getting a whole bunch of things that are supposedly similar to Deadpool being greenlit. And James Gunn is what I've gleaned from this is that he's worried about them completely missing the point of what success like this means.
And going off of him, again, I haven't exactly read all of his articles, not all of the article, but again, going off this, what everybody's saying is they don't understand the difference between what makes an R-rated movie and why it needs to be rated R. Deadpool needed to be rated R for what it was,
Right.
but certain movies don't need to be rated R just to have that R rating. You need to make the movie, and if the character needs to be rated R or something needs to be rated R in there, then do
It's
it. But if not,
it basically
we don't
comes
need a rated
yeah.
R Captain America.
It
But
comes down to if it's rated R, it's rated R, but don't try and make it rated R because if you try to make it R rated, you'll get just a bunch of gratuitous swearing, a bunch of really bad CGI blood, and
mhm.
they'll just be
and
pushing
and
to
all the
get an
sexual
R rating, and then
skin.
and if you toned it down even a little bit, it would be PG-13.
Yeah, exactly. And but this is going to open up a way for people are not or studios are not going to hopefully be so afraid to make a movie. Or we've always been trying to make movies to get certain ratings or to try to hit certain demographics. Where now hopefully they'll give more to the actual filmmakers to actually be like, okay, this is make a movie. Don't worry about rating. Don't try to make it for 16-year-olds. Don't try to make it for 8-year-olds. Just make a movie.
Well, it's
And
like in
if
the
it fits the
80s.
character,
It's like in the 80s, if you had an idea for a movie and it came out R rated, that was how it came out. You didn't
yeah,
have them.
it was just okay.
Yeah, and it's like, Aliens, Terminator, Terminator 2. Um,
But then we'd come back with like Terminator Genesis was
Term-
PG-13,
yeah,
and then the
Terminator.
RoboCop remake was PG-13 because
Yeah.
they're trying to get to a
Oh,
wider
because kids
demographic.
kids like robots, and we gotta try and keep this as
Terminator
broad as
2
possible.
was for kids. They were selling toys for Terminator 2.
There was an
So
Aliens cartoon for crying out loud.
there was a RoboCop cartoon, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a cartoon beat 'em up based on Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah, so
Made by Capcom.
this sounds kind of bad, but I think we need to go back to that. I mean, that can be taken out of context, but we do need to go back to this time where we weren't so afraid to make movies. And hopefully this will lead us there.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, what I would like to see is somebody just break the rating system entirely. Do what they did to the comics code back in the day, and have some big movie show that they don't have to have. You can go into theaters unrated and still make a lot of money.
But I want to see the MPA completely gone, or at least
Yeah.
rewritten. Because I hate our. I'm not sure if your guys is any better over there in England, but ours is broken. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
What you're like rating of films and stuff.
Yeah, our whole rating system is broken, and it really needs to be rewritten. I'm not sure if your guys is any better over there, but
As far as I remember, our ratings, it was. I had this conversation with someone the other day about it. Like, We Are the Millers. You know that film about drugs and stuff.
yeah.
That was rated a 12, whatever your equivalent is over
No, it
where
would be
you
PG
are.
13.
PG-13.
Oh, yeah, so and here it was rated 15, which is like your version of R-rated.
Mm,
Hmm.
But I think
Well,
at the
our
time,
R is 17.
R is yeah.
yeah,
R is
because we
17.
have
We go
So
from 13 to 17,
you, which is obviously like little kids,
which is
PG,
yeah.
and then you have PG-13, and then you have 12, 12A, which is 12A is when you can watch it with your parents, I think, or I can't remember. That's like a new one. Then you have 15, 18. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
more complicated in the like 12-year-old section.
see, that's a little better, but again, part of the reason that we're broken is first off, we do have that gap between 13 to 17. We don't
Yeah,
have
mhm.
anything in between, whereas
because
you
I
guys
think
do.
I think having because when you said R-rated, I was like, does that mean it what 18? And I wasn't quite sure. Then you said it's 17. I thought that's a really stupid number because when you're 15 here, it makes more sense. Like Deadpool is definitely a 15-year-old film.
Yes, I remember that Deadpool
But
was 15 over there.
Yeah.
so
And
I think a lot of like 15, 16-year-olds in your country were like missing out in the
I
cinema.
can't
So
I can't count
Exactly.
exactly how
So
many.
this is one of the reasons.
I was just gonna say I've got a bunch of old movies on VHS, and I look at the Canadian ratings, and PG-13 is usually like PG, R is usually 14.
Yeah, see, and that's another reason that
Yeah,
we're afraid to make radar movies is because now we're missing out on
the
anybody
international
below
market.
17 now. It cannot get into it.
because the prime cinema audience is like like 14 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah, they're
That
young high
Yeah,
school students.
Yeah, that's the prime market, and then you get students, and you probably get young adults, and then obviously you get old people with old films.
I mean,
So
it's not just broken in that way, but then when you consider you can have all the violence, all the drug use, all the certain curse words that you want, it can still be PG-13, but you add just a little bit of blood, you show just one sexual thing, or one or two uses of the word fuck, or just anything like that, it's now automatically rated R.
yeah.
mm, but,
It's
mm.
It's just broken all
I
over.
can't
yeah.
remember which film
It's
it was, but I watched a film that was a 12, and someone said fucking that. So I don't. It depends. 'Cause I think here someone like a company or like some sort of like agency or whatever, they watch the films, they decide the boundaries. Because I seen one film, I thought that should. It said quite a few swear words. Like I think it's in this country, it's getting a lot more chill. Like in PGs, they'll say like shit, fart, ass, whatever, and then
Mhm.
like in like 13s and stuff,
See, we can
they'll
get away with
say
that in
maybe not.
PG-13, but it just it depends
I think it's
sometimes.
switched
mhm.
now because we're a bit more chill. 'Cause back when I was little, going to year 12, no swear words whatsoever. But now you get swear words. So I think we're swapped. So we're going swearing like younger, and you're sort of going the other way. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
At least it's
again,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Deadpool wasn't cleared for release in China.
Yes, that's right. They
Yeah,
tried to get a lower rating. They tried to get an edited cut, and when they denied, they just banned it from the entire country.
yeah.
China's one of the countries those that do ban a lot of stuff, and like mediate what the government mediates what they can watch and stuff.
Because they think it will um,
Corrupt the populace.
encourage vigilantism and violence, and yeah.
They could
There's
use.
a lot more
I
films
just like to
banned
say
in
they could
China, so I
probably
wasn't
use
really
a little bit
surprised.
of that over there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm glad. I know they tried to get petitions to get this movie down to PG-13 so that way kids can see it, and I'm glad that they didn't, where they didn't back down, and they stuck to their guns, and now it's paying off, and I'm glad for that.
you know
Yeah.
what they could do for the DVD release is have a PG-13 version, and where they uh, where where they just have like big Deadpool symbols covering things, and
Oh my God,
maybe
that'd be so terrible.
maybe have
Ooh.
maybe have Deadpool come in off screen is like whatever curse word is said.
Because again, it's okay if we don't actually physically show it, but if it's referenced or something, it's fine. I don't understand.
Hmm.
Just to get back to the China point, I just like had a look at what else the other films China have banned in the past. So like they banned the Da Vinci Code because it was blasphemous.
They're not
And
even religious over there.
then and then Back to the Future because it was depicting time travel.
Wow, really?
Uh,
Yeah, it's like
uh,
Monty Python,
Hmm.
the British. They originally here they banned Life of Brian because it was
blasphemous.
filmed, yeah, because it was like Jesus and stuff. So, but then obviously they managed to petition and get it to come out because people actually chilled out.
I mean, I could kind of
So
see that, but at the same time, that's ridiculous.
yeah, but yeah,
Ch-
so there's quite a few films on here that you wouldn't think.
Eh,
So
Well, speaking of Monty Python, they really were one of the first to help push the system, and I love them
yeah.
for that.
Hmm.
With Life of Brian, there was that opening song for not Life of Brian, what was that other movie? Not Holy Grail. I can't remember it.
No, I can't think of it either.
The Meaning of Life. There's that
oh
opening song, The Meaning of Life, where that got them in some trouble.
Oh, did they
yeah.
ban? Did China ban Days of Future Past?
Um,
Because of time travel.
um,
It's like we don't want people trying to time travel,
I don't
as
think
if
so
that's
because
even
that was
physically
on
possible.
because on the list it hasn't, but it did ban one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Really?
For
Yeah,
what?
I lost it. Hang on a second. At World's End, it banned that one because 10 minutes of footage containing Chow Yun Fat's portrayal of Singaporean pirate Sao Feng had been trimmed from versions of the film which may be shown in China. So, okay, so it wasn't banned necessarily.
It had to be edited.
Yeah, and then no official reason was of the censorship was given.
You know, if
So Chow is an on-screen for 20 minutes. Yeah, so it wasn't banned. It was just the character had to be cut like in half.
My God, no wonder they like Transformers so much.
you know what I'd like to see is just straight up the the entire industry just boycotts China for a while until they fix their system and they can just stop.
But that's not going to
They can
happen
just never
because
get anything.
a lot of our overseas revenue is from China,
Oh, yeah,
especially
Yeah.
I mean it's not as
especially
easy
with
to
the
ignore as
Transformers movies, with the
Australia.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, any of those movies, any of the big action blockbusters, they do amazing over in China.
Well, yeah, it's not
That's the
like
reason most movies
Australia where
get
you can
greenlit
just
for a sequel.
it's not like Australia where they could just ignore or the country entirely until they fix their rating system and then put
Oh,
everything out over there. Or it's
oh,
because
Australia's a
it's
completely different story.
yeah. I mean, Australia is still screwed up, but at least they're not, at least they're not totalitarian like China is.
I know, but there's on their especially TV over there. Oh my God, it's so messed up.
I ref- Speaking of TV, it's like I would hate to see a TV cut of Deadpool.
Yeah,
Same.
that can't work.
It wouldn't work. It'd be
No,
like
there's no
watching
way.
the it'd be like watching a TV cut of say Commando or what else, you know? Or what else can you think of?
Yeah, I forgot,
It
but
just
I was
doesn't work.
yeah, I did watch like there was like a big rated R movie that I watched on cable one day. I turned it off within 5 minutes because it was just so censored and so cut up. I'm like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but it was a big rated R movie.
But you just know that sometime eventually Deadpool is going to be uh cut for that, and then they'll just do something really stupid for it. And whereas like, Deadpool always just says this movie's been cut for TV. Buy the DVD, it's got the real version on it. Or else
One
maybe
thing I hate.
or else maybe Deadpool will be the movie that finally breaks television.
I mean, we've been kind of getting stuff that breaks television with like Stars and HBO and stuff, obviously, but those are different.
Well,
Yeah.
think about the other Marvel stuff. I pretty much know for a fact that uh, Daredevil would have been R-rated if it was a movie. Because a
Yeah,
compound
probably. Those fight
fracture,
scenes are brutal.
yeah, compound fracture, bone sticking out of the arm. Jessica Jones definitely would have
Hmm.
been R-rated.
Yeah, all the drug use and everything, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the sex scenes.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is that those series push the limit for Marvel, for main Marvel. And I would like to see more of that. I would like to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. transition over to Netflix so that they can stop with the stupid television and innuendo. Oh, and crap. What do you guys think?
So yeah, but yeah, there is a problem with our entire rating system. I'm glad that with stuff out there, like we have Deadpool now pushing
Hmm.
the limits to that, and we have Netflix now where they can offer to make stuff, and they're not worried about ratings because it's on their own private system.
And it's not even rated
So
at all. So,
yeah, so you don't have to worry about that, and I think that that's great that we're finally getting out there and we're beating a broken rating system for reasons like this, and hopefully this will create a change where again, hope maybe we'll get more rated R movies and they're not afraid to make movies, or maybe the MPAA will fix itself or something. But
I would
right
not be
now,
I would be not at all surprised if they decide, if Saban looks at this and decides all of a sudden to just make an R-rated Power Rangers movie.
like
I
that one that was
think
on YouTube.
I think that would turn out terribly, but I think I would not be at all surprised if if like James Gunn said, everybody takes a look at this and says we're going to do a self-referential, incredibly violent R-rated and superhero movie, and just completely missed the point of why it worked.
Hmm.
Because Deadpool had pretty much all the odds stacked against it. It was released in February. It's an R-rated movie in a genre that in genre spanning R-rated movie that's in a bunch of genres that are dominated by PG and PG-13.
And then we weren't even sure if it was gonna like that's the reason why it wasn't gonna get made. They thought that it was gonna create no buzz, and luckily that got leaked. You know, so leaked. But luckily that got leaked, and then it finally got pushed through, and I'm glad that fans were there to support it. And it's really impressive that it really did as good as it did, and it's breaking like again, it's breaking like every record out there for a rated R movie.
Like
Breaking
all the
records for R-rated movies, breaking records for February movies. Is it trounced everything else at the box office?
it was up against Zoolander, so I think it was gonna do better, let's be
That's
honest.
true.
But Deadpool took a risk and it worked in their favor. So
Yeah, so again, hopefully this will
It might,
allow more studios to take more risk.
it might even resurrect February as a month where things happen. Because
Yeah, the last
normally
two
things don't.
Februarys have been good. Last year we had Kingsman, which was a rated R movie, came out last year in February.
Did that do good though?
It did pretty decent, yeah.
Hmm.
Let me look at the numbers, but yeah, it did pretty good. And of course, big, it's got a sequel coming and big fan following. Yeah, it did pretty good. And again, it was a rated R movie that came out last year. Uh, the Valentine's Day weekend, just like this.
My
Hmm.
sister went to go see that. I haven't seen that, but my sister and my friend went to go see that, and they really liked it.
It had a budget of 81 million. Opening weekend, it made 42 million.
Mm.
Well, we're
I think it was
seeing
I think it was a 15 here, or a 12 something.
we're seeing some pretty steady success here.
Hmm.
It makes a change from all the Valentine's rubbish that you get.
Yeah,
Ugh,
you get
with
romantic
kids very.
comedies, and
Ugh.
it was like How to Be
Zoolander 2.
Zoolander 2 and How to Be Single are what it went up against.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no way those were gonna outsell it.
Yeah, no
It
way.
was like it's like Trainwreck and Chipmunks 4. Star Wars was not gonna be beaten out by those.
No way.
My friend was saying that her cousin and some of her friends they went to see Zoolander 2, and they walked out the cinema halfway through.
Yeah, I know there was I can't remember his name, but there was an actual big movie critic who walked out. And I was so depressed because I was so happy for it. I'm like, oh yes, I want to see it. And then the ratings started coming. I'm like, or the reviews started coming in, and I'm like, oh, I was hoping it'd be good.
I always hope stuff's gonna be good. I never hope anything to be bad.
Yeah, that's true. But this is one that it's just one of those ones that I really, really wanted to be good because I love the first one so much. It's kind of like Pixels. I wanted Pixels to be good, like I really did. And I was holding a hope that this was going to be his big change, and that because it's such a great premise, and I love old retro video games, and I'm like, yes, this better be good. And then it
Yeah.
wasn't.
So do you think Deadpool should be nominated for best comedy this for 2016?
Yep.
Because I really don't think there's any.
It's not The Martian.
I'm just
Kind
there's
for
literally
best
nothing
comedy
else.
probably, but for like big awards like Oscars, no. But for like best comedy at Golden Globes, yeah, I could see that. But anything else bigger, probably not.
Because like look at the rest of the comedies coming out this year. They all suck.
Zoolander too.
Zoolander 2, Ghostbusters. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
presume
God.
I
That,
presume Ghostbusters is going to suck. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not going into it thinking
that
it's
first, yeah, that
hoping.
first teaser trailer though was so.
I haven't seen the teaser trailer. Like, why
There was just
can't I just let it be?
there was like a 15-second teaser trailer, and unless it said Ghostbusters, you wouldn't have known it was Ghostbusters.
No.
So the real trailer should be released here in I think about a week. I think it was the 3rd of March. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully, again, that's another one I want to be good, but at the same time, this is one that I'm going against because I kind of want it to be good, but I kind of want it to be bad, so that way we'll stop doing remakes. That's
I
not going
just
to happen. So
expect it to be, I just expect it to be bad because of the situation it's in. First off, it's a remake of a classic 80s movie. Second, it's a remake with a bunch of gender swapping going on. Third, it's got a horrible cast. There's like
yeah,
there are
the
two
only good
people.
person in that cast is Chris Hemsworth.
Mm.
Yeah, he should be on the he should be part of the Ghostbusters team. It's
Hmm.
like just get Chris Hemsworth, just get Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt,
Just get all the Marvel
and
guys.
Zoe Saldana or maybe Scarlett Johansson, and then they can be the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, it was. So yeah, it's gonna be. I hope it's good. Kind of hope it's bad, and maybe we'll stop this. But again, we won't. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I mean Deadpool is a situation where it could revive the action comedy,
Hmm.
because
That was what I was really nervous for, because like if this bombs,
yeah,
this is gonna
It's
ruin
like
everything.
you worry that certain comedy films and other films that they use all the funniest bits in the whole film in the trailer, so when
And
you just
Deadpool was
feel just
definitely.
like boring. But at least I'm so glad I didn't do that. It was just hilarious all the way through.
Yeah, that was
So
one
hmm
I was really worried about Deadpool with them. Like the commercials are funny, the previews are funny, and the trailers are funny or whatever, but there were a couple of reused jokes, and you're like, I hope that that's not it.
yeah.
yeah,
And again, everything seemed to take place on that one bridge. Everything in the trailers took place on the one bridge. So like, is there more to this movie? Is this the only good scene? That's why they keep showing it. And luckily it defied everything, and it was really amazing.
You can only hope that the sequel's going to be just as good.
Yeah, more again. This movie took 11 years in production.
Yeah.
This script was fine-tuned again and again and again. So I'm hoping they're not going to try to rush the next one just to go off the success of this one, because it was greenlit before the movie came out.
Hmm.
But I'm hoping they're not going to try to rush it just because this one did so good, and in the process, it's not as good. So
Well,
I'm
that's
excited,
then you'd
but I'm
wind up
worried.
with Fant Four Stick
Yeah,
because that was basically rushed to get to the sequel.
it was well. First off, it was rushed because their licensees were out,
Yeah.
and then they wanted to set up a universe of sequels, and it was just they set up too much time trying to get to the sequel that they didn't actually set up the movie that we were currently watching, which is kind of funny because now the sequel doesn't exist.
Mhm.
so, so as of right now, Deadpool is the highest grossing movie of 2016, and
It's had no competition though when you think about that.
well, yeah, I
There
mean, the closest thing
there
is
has not been like a single good movie this year besides Deadpool.
yeah. I mean, so far we've had Kung Fu Panda 3.
Right? That was pretty decent.
We had, I mean, some Chinese movie was reigning highest grossing of 2016 for a while,
But it's
but
just been
it was The Mermaid, yeah.
it's been a pretty bad year. Like we had the fifth wave, I was hoping that was good and that bombed. We had Norm of the North, which bombed. And we had a couple of decent horror movies. We had The Forest, which was pretty decent. We had The Boy, which is pretty decent. And last week we had The Witch, which was amazing. But it's just been a pretty bad year. And then Deadpool just revived everything. And hopefully this will be a sign of a good year going forward with
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, Civil War, Batman vs Superman.
This I say this is either going to turn out to be one of the best years for comic book adaptations or one of the worst because
Doctor Strange is this year too.
yeah,
I'm so
because
excited for that. There's been like no hype or anything, or no trailers or anything Doctor Strange yet, and it's driving me insane.
Well,
he's
I think it just started filming, if
I
I
mean
remember right.
there is actually a third option. It could be just mediocre because
It's Marvel.
well no, I was saying and I was just it could be a mediocre year for comic book adaptations, but I don't think that's how it's going to turn out because it could just be mediocre, but it could also be really, really good or really bad. And it's got a
I
low
don't think
chance
that,
of
yeah,
being mediocre.
especially in this day and age, everything's either the best or the worst. So,
Well, just look at Batman vs. Superman. That's packed full of heroes. And
hmm
look at Civil War. That's like Avengers 3. Everybody's fighting, and then we don't know why edition.
yeah, but then you talk to Daniel, who was on the website, and Batman vs Superman is terrible for having all his characters, but Civil War is great for having all his characters. Anyway, that's a different story.
And then Suicide Squad looks good, but if it turns out badly, and there's
hmm
a chance it could turn out badly, it could tip
It
the.
could tank everything
It could tank
that they
everything.
just said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even if
and yeah,
the only way it works out is if Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad do well. That'll be really good. Both, but if Batman versus Superman and tanks, it tanks Suicide Squad, even if Suicide Squad is good.
yeah. See, and that's gonna be a problem again with this year is that there's a lot of big things coming out this year that have been so hyped. Batman vs Superman is the first time we're seeing Batman and Superman on screen together, and it's the first time we're seeing Wonder Woman in a movie. We have Civil War, which is one of the best-selling comic books ever written, or comic series ever written. We
But
have
also one
Doctor
of the
Strange, which is
worst
also,
comic series ever written as well.
again, I have to disagree with you on that. I actually really like Civil War. And then Suicide Squad, which is gonna be big. It's gonna be our first on-screen appearance of a lot of these characters, including Harley Quinn,
That-
plus a
yeah,
new Joker. And then we're getting Doctor Strange, which is pretty good. It's gonna be the first time we're gonna see actual magic in the MCU.
and there's
And
Age of Apocalypse.
yeah, there's Apocalypse, which is gonna be huge because, well, it's literally huge with Apocalypse actually having that power.
Yeah,
But this is gonna be where Apocalypse. It's like the perfect transition from comic book to screen. It looks like so far
Mm-hmm.
they really made Apocalypse the way he should be. And then yeah, Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch. That's really the selling point for that movie. But
Yeah, it is. I just
I
think
think
it's
Marvel.
like
Go ahead.
I just say like we go through phases, and at the point at the moment, superhero films like a cinema phenomenon, like with films, everything is from comics is getting adapted into films, and it just sort of makes you wonder like when is it gonna be boring and just slowly die off,
that's what we're
and then
saying is when's it
then
gonna
what will
be?
be the new fad?
Yeah, when
Like
is it gonna become the next Western?
yeah,
Well,
Which I know me and Alex talked about this once.
yeah, we talked about it all the way back in the first episode.
Was that the first one? Gee.
Yep. You know, hmm. Sorry, hang on.
but no, it's very exciting year, I think. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I think it,
Um,
and this hopefully set it off in the right direction. But now everybody's gonna have a big hoop to jump through because the year started off so good with such a good movie that now everything's gonna be compared to Deadpool.
yeah,
There's a
and
lot of pressure.
That Deadpool had.
I was gonna say even if even if Civil War doesn't turn out that well, I think Doctor Strange can turn out. I think Doctor Strange can still pull it off, which is that
I reckon
relies
it will.
more on the fact that it's more of an established franchise and not something that we're just being introduced to as an adaptation goes, because we've literally only had one DCEU movie so far.
Yeah, yeah. I still hate that DCEU, but anyway. But yeah, Doctor Strange I think has a lot of things working for it. One of it is the big star that we have, Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch is
Cumberbatch, yeah.
he's one of the biggest stars out there right now. He's nominated for an
He
Oscar
has
last year. He's in everything,
he has the biggest following of fangirls in existence.
and I'm one of
If
them.
you do not want to provoke them on Tumblr, otherwise you will be killed.
Yep.
Ripped to shreds.
I mean, I love him. I love him on Sherlock. That's when I first found him years
Yep.
before,
And
years
then when
before
he
he
was-
was the Oscar-nominated actor. But yeah,
And then he was on Star Trek, and it was just like he's
yeah,
so good.
in the darkness.
Significant villain.
I can smell your breath.
Yeah, yeah. Going back, that is his voice was a little weird in that, but I still think he acted that part pretty well.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, that has that going for it. And then it's a turn for the MCU because the MCU hasn't really embraced magic or mysticism or anything. Like their god isn't a god in the MCU. He's just a person who's advanced scientifically and
You're talking about Thor, right?
yeah, like they make points that Thor is not a god in the MCU. So
I
this would be a
didn't think
good
he ever
change.
was. I thought they were. I thought the.
He's the literal god of thunder. He's Thor, the Norse god.
No,
Like
no,
that's
I
how
mean-
he's supposed to be.
I'm talking about the comics. I thought they were always aliens. And
Well,
that.
he's supposed to be based off the actual.
Well, yeah, but I thought that the actual god of the Marvel universe was Stan Lee or Jack Kirby or whoever happens to be writing in the comics at the time. Because didn't the Fantastic Four actually break out of the comics universe to go talk to the writers one time?
I can't remember. Marvel gets a little ridiculous sometimes, but
Yeah.
so does DC in their comics. But yeah, and I'm glad to see DC was embracing. With Superman, we are kind of worried because in Batman, the original Dark Knight trilogy, it just seemed like they weren't embracing what they were. But now it looks like they are embracing, where we have Killer Croc's actually basically just a giant crocodile. That's how they have them set up, and that he actually just has sharp teeth and he eats people. Where Enchantress is actually a witch. You have Harley, who's just crazy. When they make that point in the trailer, and I think we're finally getting to that point where we're allowed to now adapt straight from comic book to film, and that Deadpool did that perfectly, where it's just exactly the same character,
Yeah, it
same
pretty
costume,
much
same character.
it pretty much proves that you can have this 100% comic book silly crap and still be completely successful.
Exactly. Apocalypse, like I said, Apocalypse, like he's a perfect adaptation from book to film. I mean, from yeah, comic books to film, and from what we've seen him so far, and he looks ridiculous when you first look at him. Everybody says he looks like a Power Rangers villain, and
Ivan Ooze specifically.
yeah, but now that but he's adapted perfectly. Like he's exactly from page to film, and he looks like he's going to be terrific.
Hmm.
Well, especially
You know,
played by Oscar Isaac. So
Deadpool might actually, um, Deadpool might actually pave the way for other Rob Liefeld creations to come to the big screen.
you think?
Yeah, because they're pulling out Cable, which is, I think arguably one of Liefeld's greatest creations. They're pulling out, well, yeah, that's it for them. But then they're also going to be pulling out, maybe Liefeld can finally get the Youngblood movie made.
See,
Or
I don't think this is all completely Deadpool, but I think it's also gonna it's partially Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's also
yeah,
gonna start
Guardians.
pulling out more obscure stuff.
Well, yeah,
Where
Negasonic
Marvel
Teenage
pulled out Ant-Man.
Warhead.
Not a lot of people know Ant-Man, and people love that movie. Not a lot of people love New Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's one of the best in the MCU.
I
And
think I
Deadpool, not a
think
lot of people knew Deadpool, surprisingly. Not
I
a lot of
didn't
people
know
know Harley Quinn, so
I didn't know anything about Ant-Man, and then I watched the film. And it was actually pretty good. Like it felt with the Avengers film, it felt like we were going away from like the single ones because we were just going over like Iron Man,
hmm
Thor, Captain America. But then it was nice that they were now bringing other characters, like fresh characters, and starting them off. And Ant-Man is actually a really good film. I thought Ant-Man, stupid concept. I thought I'm never gonna like it or like think the film's good, but it was really, really good and it really surprised me.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
When I, of course, because especially with the whole everything that was going on behind the scenes, Edgar Wright, who was supposed to do it, is amazing, and then he was fired because they didn't want to do what he wanted to do, and so like I was really worried for it, and it was really good. And Deadpool, where he's a more obscure character than you think. He wasn't mainstream until recently,
No.
and Harley Quinn isn't exactly mainstream. So we're able to pull out more obscure stuff
Well, she
like
was
Deadpool,
created
like
for the Batman animated series, though.
exactly. She's what Harley Quinn's been around since '92. I think Deadpool's been around since '91 maybe, and I don't think Deadpool got his own solo until '96. And so we're able to pull up newer ones, more obscure ones. We can get Ant-Man, Guardians, just stuff people don't know, and we can still make good movies out of them.
Yep, New Mutants 91.
Yeah, where he was a little different in character because he was supposed to be a Deathstroke ripoff in that. He slightly changed from that.
Yeah, he became a Deathstroke parody over time.
Mm-hmm. Because he was, if I remember right, he was written off as kind of. They just kind of had him in there. He was supposed to be like a one-off, just make fun of a character and leave, kind of like Lobo was.
Yeah.
Where Lobo was supposed to make fun of anti-heroes, and then
And then he stuck around forever.
Yeah, and then he blew up, and that's a movie I can't wait for. And now Deadpool has paved the path for a Lobo movie.
In 2004, Deadpool referred to his own scarred appearance as Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei.
I was actually watching an interview. That is the panel that made Ryan Reynolds want to do the movie.
I think one
That,
part of Ryan Reynolds, like how his success as Deadpool has to be how he played the character just before the film even came out, like at Halloween when he was like with the kids talking as the character Deadpool and then just doing other stuff as Deadpool.
and then
I think
all
that really helped.
all the promo videos that were coming out recently
Yeah.
before the movie, and even now, he's still coming out with stuff. Having him still have that suit was the best marketing they could have ever done for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I know he says that he stole it, but
Yeah, didn't he like walk out wearing it because everyone else has to take their suits back or something?
yeah, he says that he was walking out the last day, and they're like, "Aren't you gonna take the suit off?" He goes, "Try and take it from
Do you
me,"
really?
and left.
Do you really want me to
Yeah.
try and? Do you really want to try and stop me?
He's like, "I've been waiting 11 years for this thing. I'm keeping it."
Yeah.
And it's one of the best moves they could ever do because he's been helping you with the marketing so much, being in character for everything.
Isn't there a petition at the moment for him to
Host Saturday Night Live
Live?
as Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
was
would
just
love
bringing
to
that
see
up,
that.
and
That
yeah.
might actually make Saturday Night Live worth watching for once.
That would probably be one of the most watched episodes of SNL in a long time.
I mean, yeah, they've gone downhill
Yeah, they haven't
fairly
exactly.
severely, and
Hmm.
a character having actual Deadpool, not Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool the character show up, and
I have a feeling if they did just ask Ryan Reynolds, he would show up voluntarily as Deadpool.
yeah,
Okay.
they
Like
couldn't
he was
stop
It's
him from
gonna
like just
be
being
Ryan Reynolds
Deadpool.
host. He'd come in as character in character.
Ryan Reynolds is gonna have like because you think of the actor, you're gonna associate him with other films he's been in, like rom-coms and chick flicks and stuff like that. But now he'll be forever identified as Deadpool. So he's
Exactly.
sort of his status as an actor has gone up in quality. So I
Hmm.
think he's gonna do so much more better now.
Yeah, I'm really impressed, and he's a person who was made for the character. Like he's just so perfect for the character. Just like everybody says, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. They're
Yeah,
just so perfect for it.
Because originally I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, like seriously, because obviously I saw him in Origins, and I thought, nah, because I was going by what he's been in before, but this really brought out his extreme acting and how much what his potential is and what he can and can't do. So
you know
I'm so glad he's still stuck with the role.
it used to be if I looked up Ryan Reynolds, I would get the American footballer first, but now I get the actor.
And now,
So
I bet you if you're going to Google Images, type in Ryan Reynolds, it's all Deadpool.
I'm gonna try this.
what was your favorite? What's your favorite portrayal of the character
What do you mean?
of uh, of the character of Deadpool? What's your favorite thing the character's been in? Because there's the comics, there is the cartoon, there's the video game, and the movie.
Yeah. I like the standard comics, not the original, not the Deathstroke ripoff, but not quite. There was a point where he got a little too oversaturated, and they tried to make him too jokey, and it kind of failed.
Hmm.
But then there were also points where, like, we had Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, where he was great. He was perfect in that. I know that was more recent. And then there was another one where he actually went back to like classic books, where he like went into Moby Dick and stuff, and he was good in
Yeah.
that. I mean, but yeah, in the video game, I think they did a perfect portrayal of him in that, and he had the voices talking, the bubbles, and again, I'm really hoping for that in the sequel where they have his split personalities.
Did you know Ryan Reynolds was in R.I.P.D.?
Yep,
Yeah. So
sadly.
he's been in three different
Five
comic
comic
book
book movies?
adaptations. He's been in three different
Three.
comic movies. Yeah. Well, comic book roles.
Yeah,
There's
because he was Green Lantern.
there's Deadpool, Green Lantern, and an R.I.P.D.
Hmm.
Green
Now,
Lantern was
if
awful.
he if for some reason he was able to if for some reason and they got him back to play Hal Jordan, do you think he should do it?
Part of me says yes, but part of me says no.
Oh
Part of
well,
me says yes because he's perfect for the role,
Well, yeah, he
but
looks just like
he's
him.
Deadpool now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like him. He acts like him. Hal Jordan has always been kind of a cocky, arrogant prick,
that
and he's perfect
film
for
in
that.
general was just awful. So I don't think they're gonna make any more. Because now he's gone over to Marvel, so DC won't be like,
Well, I know that
because
Yeah,
the
he's
rivalry.
said that he doesn't want to do any other comic book movies. Now he's going to just do Deadpool from now on. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
DC could happily recast and try and make Green Lantern not as crap as last time if they wanted.
Well, they're planning on doing a Green Lantern Corps movie, which is what I wanted in the first place. And Chris Pine was rumored for it before he got what is it, Scott Trevor, before I got that role.
yeah, I think
And
that's
Chris Pine would have made a perfect Hal Jordan.
see, that's an incredibly dumb casting because I mean, that's a part of the Wonder Woman mythology that could just be forgotten easily. It doesn't affect anything in the modern day. I mean, they're basically just going to be making Wonder Woman into Captain America now.
Well, except the
Because,
World War One, but
well, yeah, but still, you get my
well,
point.
because she's always been kind of Captain America-ish. She has the shield, she has the America skirt, and She's always been kind of Captain America.
Oh yeah. Now that you point that out, I get that more more than I did before.
Yeah, they've always been copies of each other, just gender swapped. I, I'm pretty sure Captain America was first because I think he was the second comic book hero
Yep.
like ever.
Yep, he was. He
Superman
did.
being first. I think it was then Captain America, then Batman.
Yeah, Captain America
Because
came before most of that because he was in the
I want to say
30s.
1940.
No, Captain America was in the
I
30s.
want to say he he had to have been 39 or 40 because
Yeah,
Superman was the first in 1938.
yeah, that was 39
So then,
because he
yeah,
was punching out Nazis before America officially entered the war.
no, was he?
Yeah,
Which would have been 1941. And then yeah, we had Batman in 1940.
so it goes Superman,
And then I
Captain
forget what
America,
one.
Batman, and I think the Human Torch came first, but that wasn't exactly a superhero comic.
Yeah, and then we had Shazam was in there somewhere because well at the time Captain Marvel,
Yeah, I don't.
but he wasn't owned by DC at the time.
Yeah, that was Timely Comics.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, what do you think the plot of a Deadpool sequel would be like?
I really want to see him. I just because of his story, I want to see him die and meet death. I want to see that just temporary because that's always how it works. I want to see him die and meet death and have that whole story go out. Everything else I don't care about. I, it would probably be because we're having cable and he's probably coming to the future with some message that something's happening, obviously, and that he needs his help. And
As long
And
as
then
he's an
Deadpool would be
asshole.
like, "Didn't we literally just change the past in the last movie?"
something
Yeah.
like that. So,
Yeah.
and there's definitely gonna be time travel with cable in there, so China's not gonna allow it again.
If you know, with who actually remembers Negasonic Teenage Warhead? Did anybody ever? I mean, before this movie, who actually remembers that
Well,
character?
is she a new character? Like she's pretty recent, isn't she?
Hmm. Hang on.
I'm,
Her
try- I'm
name's
I
looking this up
literally.
right now, but I think she's more of a recent character.
That makes it even worse.
I don't know why Beavis and Butthead come up in this in my feed when I typed it in. But okay. She's
Yeah,
got
her
to be
first
new.
appear. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Okay, she's not that new. She was first introduced new X-Men 115 in August 2011 or 2001. I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Oh, it's
So it's like
Negasonic. I thought it was Negasonic.
yeah, it's with an N.
Mm.
I mean, she's always been kind of I wouldn't even say secondary character. She's just kind of been there.
She didn't
Actually, I'm looking at her. If you look at her Wikipedia page, the picture is the one from the film, even though it's talking about the actual character.
I'm looking at.
really,
This is not.
she didn't really do much,
This is not
which was
the character from the. Hang on, let me turn screen share on, if I can, because I'll show you what I'm looking at. There.
I'm on mobile, so the top banner is actually the movie version picture.
Okay, well, I'm seeing in the comic version from John Cassidy. She
yeah,
displays
she did.
telepathic and precognitive powers. Well, that's completely different from the movie,
Hmm.
because that's almost telekinesis and super strength. First off, why would they be called Negasonic Teenage Warhead if she doesn't have any powers like that?
Mm.
Oh, so the character is named after the Monster Magnet song.
Oh, that makes sense.
I like
was-
in it says on Wiki like in the under film like although she's obscure and the writer selected her because they liked her name. That's the reason why.
That sounds like Deadpool. That is the perfect reason for her to be in that movie.
Fine then. Yeah.
After hearing her codename, Kitty Pryde remarks, "Wow, we really have run out of names."
You know, I want to see more of. I definitely want to see like a solo Colossus movie, and I hope they stick to the comics. And I mean the comics, not the Ultimate comics.
Ultimate always gets weird.
Ultimate
That's
comics,
how
they
we got
made
Fan
him.
Force Stick, because it's Ultimate.
Ultimate comics, they made him gay so his wife could be with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man has been with so many women.
Man horror.
They make
Well, I think he had, what, at least 8, right?
okay. There's I'm just naming off the top of my head: Mary Jane, and Gwen Stacy, uh, Kitty Pryde, the Black Cat, the
I love Black Cat.
secretary here from the Daily Planet. It's and the girl from After One More Day. So that's like 6,
Just off the top of your head.
just off the top of my head. Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
not counting alternate versions.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they could do a Colossus movie on their own, especially with the character they have in this version, the Deadpool version.
Yeah,
I don't know. He just doesn't seem like someone who could carry a film on his own, just because they did kind of change him to be more of a side act.
yeah, but I'm also glad they're not going for the ultimate version because
Yeah.
I mean that was direct. That was like a direct cop out there. I think.
Again, everything with Marvel and the whole Ultimate Universe is weird. New 52 was weird for DC, but Ultimate is worse.
Yeah, because they just changed so much about the Ultimate Universe. I mean, at first it was good, but then it got seriously idiotic as time went on.
Hmm.
So what's the what do you think the future of the X-Men series is going to be? Because they're definitely going to keep going.
Oh, they're going to go until the franchise is milk dry, which it's not going to be milk dry for a while. Well, with Hugh Jackman quitting, I'm sure they'll get another Wolverine, and they're going to have to find a way to fit that in somehow.
My argument is that Dakin should be the next Wolverine. They should
Who?
just
Yeah, I
retire
thought
the
that-
character.
Yeah,
Oh, I think they should retire the character too, but
I
Yeah.
think Wolverine should just like when it's Hugh Jackman's last film, then they just end it as that because he's had so many films. And they should bring in like another character who's going to be equally as awesome.
Well, Dakin would be the one, Dakin or X-23, because they're both great. I mean, Dakin is like the sadistic version of Wolverine. He turned up to 11, but you could capture the essence of the character whilst without making him the villain, if you wanted to.
yeah. And I
Or
like
you
the
could do what they
rumor
did with
that-
X-23.
I like the rumor that the next one's going to be Old Man Logan. I think that'll be a good way to send him off, especially with the rated
Mhm.
R. But there is too much writing on Wolverine that he is the basis of the X-Men franchise right now.
Yeah,
He's been in almost every single movie, and he is the central character. And I don't think they're going to retire the character that easily just because Hugh Jackman's not playing him.
If they do decide to switch over, they should definitely switch to Cyclops because he was the lead in the he was the lead in the animated series, and the animated series is the most popular iteration besides the movies. So
I'd like to see the Beast take over, Nicholas Holt's Beast.
yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
I want to see because obviously in the X-Men he's a senator, isn't he, in the Parliament thing equivalent in the US, and then he's obviously at the moment he's a scientist in the prequels. I want to see him transition into the politics segment, like follow that storyline. It would be quite cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the Beast he's a genius. He's got, what, 6 PhDs or something? He's got like 6 doctorates. He's
Yeah.
the smartest of all the X-Men. And he's always been the strategist. He knows what's happening. And I'd like to see him take over, but I don't think that they can get enough action out of him unless he goes into berserker mode. but I think he'd be a cool central character. And with Nicholas Hoult playing that lead part, and he's going to become a big star after his role in Mad Max last year, I think he'll be a good choice for it to take over.
What do you think they're gonna do with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
I'm not sure if they'll bring. Have they said they're going to bring in Scarlet Witch yet?
Scarlet Witch was in Days of Future Past. She just
She's going to be in the next one as well.
yeah,
No,
and
I know that.
she wasn't doing anything, but she was there.
Mm.
It was like
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more Quicksilver. Quicksilver was amazing. His one scene in Days of Future Past was amazing. But
I don't think they could
I
pull
think
off
they're
a full
afraid.
solo Quicksilver movie. I just think they
Oh no,
need,
definitely not.
but he should be a main character in like the next X-Men movie after Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, I definitely think he should be. But then you also have to think we're getting a new Storm. Storm's coming in with Apocalypse, and we're probably
Why
gonna
don't they
get
just why don't they just use Halle Berry?
because Halle Berry's African accent sucks.
Just Storm doesn't even have an African accent. She's got like this stilted British accent.
Mm.
Isn't her husband in the comic books coming into it, the Panther one? Isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. As a matter of fact, Black Panther's coming into the main series, into the
Mhm.
MCU.
And I can't wait to see him. He's gonna be amazing.
I just, this is incredibly, this is incredible because you've got Black Panther who can't be used in the X-Men series even though he's married to Storm, and Storm who can't be used in the MCU even though she's married to Black Panther. And
Because she's technically a mutant. But then you have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch who somehow cross over. Where in the MCU they can't reference that they're mutants, and it's all kinds of weird.
you see, here's the thing. There should not be any trademarks on mutants or superheroes for that matter because it's such a generic term. It's a
Hmm.
scientific term, mutation. Technically, you know,
It's like DC claiming all metas.
we're all mutants because, any of you guys have lactose intolerance?
Nope.
Nope.
You're mutants then.
That makes me feel better.
There was like an experiment we did at science in high school where if you put this special bit of paper on your tongue and if you could taste it, then you were a mutant. But most people couldn't taste anything; it just tastes like paper.
Hmm.
So we have various different cells.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's the thing is that this there should not be any issues with this because and this comes down to trademark law, I guess, because
Because Marvel will sue
yeah,
them, that's all of all their characters.
Marvel and DC own like a joint trademark on the word superhero, which is I think
Generic.
that's too generic. As is mutants.
Well, they've shut down almost everybody. There's barely anyone else to combat them anymore.
I
They're
know,
the
but I'd
two.
say, if for instance the mutant and superhero trademarks were invalidated, Marvel wouldn't have to call the characters in there Inhumans, and the heroes in Heroes they could have called the superheroes mutants too because that's literally what it is.
Yeah, that's why we're seeing the rise of the word conduits now. Where I've been seeing that used a lot.
Something I just have to wonder how do so many uh how do so many companies get away with using superhero if Marvel and DC own the trademark? Because Toei has an entire block on their on Japanese TV called Superhero Time. The Power Rangers are referred to as superheroes almost constantly. I mean, I can't see how this stuff is valid
I have no idea.
because they're not enforcing it except in like
Could that
little tiny situations because there was this game called Superhero Quest and they shut it down. They said the guys who were making it couldn't call it Superhero Quest anymore.
Yeah, the whole everything's been going on with the trademarking, and it's just gone all crazy, and this is causing problems with movie universes, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with Marvel, and it's crazy. Or like they can't make a solo Hulk movie because technically distribution rights for Hulk are still owned by Universal. So that's why we're not really getting any solo Hulk movies. And then, of course, there's the whole Spider-Man fight and
Marvel
Fantastic Four, and it's
has enough. Marvel and Disney have enough money that they could literally just buy them out if they wanted to.
yeah.
But no, they've got to go into this. They've got to wait for them to tank so they can buy the rights back.
And this is why we're getting all these movies pushed out. Why Fantastic Four stick had to be made
Yeah.
because they were going to lose the rights, and we're like, well, we have to do something about this. So they push out a movie, and then it turns out to be bad. And again, we're just going to keep getting bad Fantastic Four movies when it should be over at Marvel because I think they have the right tone for Fantastic Four.
Let's see what's
And
left.
then we have the whole
I mean, there's the X-Men and all related mutants, but
and then
and the
the whole Spider-Man universe is owned by Sony. There's Daredevil was owned by
Fox. Yeah,
Sony. Was it Sony or was it Fox?
Fox.
Daredevil,
Fox is the one.
Elektra, all them
Yeah.
were owned by Fox until they stopped making stuff, so that's why they're reverted back. Hulk again is distribution by Universal.
So Hulk is relegated to a
there's one
supporting
other.
role in the new Thor movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because they still haven't figured out how to work that. And then there's one other one. There's one random one that I forget is distributed to someone else. And I can't remember who it was, but somehow it's still out there. And I forget who it's owned by or who it is, but it's crazy. It's just a random character. Just one random character.
Hmm.
And then is Spawn DC or Marvel?
Spawn is Image Comics.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I know they're working on a new Spawn movie.
Yeah, Spawn crossed over with DC for a while, but
That's probably what I'm thinking of then.
yeah, because he was. You remember Spawn versus Batman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just the licensing rights to all this is crazy, and that's why Deadpool, they never specifically referenced that was the helicarrier from the Avengers. It's supposed to just be implied.
Yeah,
I was reading about that.
and then
They
there's
get the rights to
Hydra.
actually use
Then there's
the
Hydra Agent
helicarrier.
Bob, Agent of Hydra.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I did not know that didn't hit me until I read it, where someone said Bob from Hydra. I'm like, oh. And
Yeah,
then the fact that it's with the helicarrier, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't
I
think
was
about
looking
that.
at that, and
Bob
that's like
is Bob from Hydra.
that is literally the helicarrier, her from the Avengers. The whole time I was looking at that,
And
is like that is literally the helicarrier.
my friend said
Mhm.
to me that when he's fighting the evil guys in Deadpool, and he's like, "Hey Bob," and then apparently that's like in text reference to him being a character or something, which I completely missed. But she said that was like his uncredited superhero X-Men person.
yeah, I did not think about that till I read it, and then that's why at the end, in the after credits scene, he only says Samuel L. Jackson in an eye patch.
Yeah.
He doesn't say Nick Fury.
Do you
We all know that's Nick Fury, but
you know something? I think Deadpool could actually show up in the MCU
I think it'd be great.
and they could get Ryan Reynolds to do it.
Exactly, they can get Ryan Reynolds into the MCU and imply that it's Deadpool as long as they don't call him Deadpool.
Well, they can call him Deadpool as long as they don't mention his mutant powers.
I think it'd be cool,
Hmm.
and I think that he'd be up for it.
Yeah,
But
something
I'm
that
sure
you
that would
brought
start a
up.
whole big legal battle.
Something that you brought up a while ago, Alice, was that they're making everything. They're making comic book. They're making adaptations of everything comic book related. They have The Walking Dead. There's The Walking Dead. There's Daredevil, Jessica
that-
Jones. All the
Which
Marvel
they're then going to
stuff.
go into the Defenders.
Uh-huh. And all of the DC stuff.
And I was just reading they want to do
I mean,
I
there's
forget who's playing him, but the Punisher wants to do a spin-off for his own series,
yeah, there's the DC
There's that.
television series, the
which
animated
are all
series.
complicated.
There's been a massive cultural shift in like what we're now adapting on cinema. Because obviously we'd like adapt from books if we are gonna, and now just moving on to different stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, like with anime, like we'll go end up getting adaptations from that, like Attack on Titan.
Well,
Hmm.
So
you
a
know,
lot of them, of course, the Asian.
Attack on Titan
I heard that,
has an anime has a live
Yeah.
action movie, but
which I heard was terrible.
there's also yeah, there's gonna be a new Death Note live action movie. There's actually a sequel to the original Death Note live action movies coming
As long as they're not working on anything with Dragon Ball Z again.
in Japan, and there's also going to be a live action Death Note movie made by Warner Brothers of America. So,
Hmm.
you know, if those turn out well, I mean, the Death Note, they probably will. Uh,
See, I think we're starting to go into monster movies. I said this before. I think that's what we're
yeah,
starting to head toward. We're starting to head toward kaiju movies again, and I couldn't be happier.
yeah,
But
it's. I feel like it's going to be kaiju more than it is going to be Universal monsters because they've
they're
seriously,
trying the Universal monsters, but they just can't get it off. I mean,
yeah.
we've been getting some major casting. Johnny Depp is now playing the Invisible Man. Tom Cruise is going to be in The Mummy, and it's going to be great. But I'm just hoping it'll take off. I don't think it will. I think kaiju is going to be the next big one.
I just wonder why they're
Comic books
not
are
getting.
they
Why don't?
are eventually going to die out. We're going to run out of.
Well, I think comic books are looking at dying off. Just comic books in general, and then we'll just be left with the movies and the
Oh, I don't
adaptations.
think so. I think
Well,
comic
have
books
you
are selling
seen
more now than
sales
they ever
lately?
have.
Have you seen sales lately?
Last I checked, they were doing really, really good.
No, they're doing terribly, even compared to 10 years ago.
Hmm.
I mean, if you
I've been
compare it to the 90s and the 80s, and it's even worse. I mean, comic books are down below where they were, are like way below what they would have been canceled at as far as sales figures go, and the writing is just awful, especially
see. I
for
know this.
looking at Marvel.
Yeah, I read DC mostly. Like I'm looking at my box of comic books right now. Like I think that there is a cultural shift where this is now no longer a nerdy thing to do, where I think or it's become more mainstream. I thought about this while watching
Yeah,
the
but at
Super
this,
Bowl. We are watching the Super Bowl, and there are movies trailers for big comic book movies, and this has become the norm now. People are okay with this.
I think that's a really
20
good.
years ago, it
Yeah.
would not be okay.
Well,
I would.
I mean,
I think
Batman was a huge blockbuster.
Besides Batman.
Ninja Turtles.
if we look at the cultural shift like thing, like the next step would probably because it's getting basically nerdy is the new cool. So like the next move, I guess, would be like Magic of the Gathering and like Dungeons and Dragons coming to life in film. That's the next move. That's as far as extreme as we can get.
We're getting the Warcraft movie here soon, so
I think
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
as you know, as long as they make better D&D movies than the one they made, like
with Jeremy Irons.
yeah, whatever that one was just called Dungeons and Dragons, and it was eh. As long as it's better than that, I think that'll work out. But they should really adapt some of the Forgotten Realms novels rather than trying to rather
Yeah, we
than
have yet to have any like
yeah.
good game adaptations, but a couple of years, like 20 years ago, we could have said this about comic book movies. We only had a couple of good comic movies up until 2000s. We had the Batman movies, and even those took a turn for the worse. And we had the original Superman movie,
It was like
which those got bad around three.
it was like 1, 2, and then it starts sucking.
And then we got four, and everybody's like, "What is going on with this?"
That's
And then we had
basically
the
how
first
it
couple
went.
Batman movies.
That's
And
basically how it went with all of the first with the Batman and Superman stuff. It goes 1, 2, and then it sucks, and then the fourth one comes
Mhm.
and
Everybody's like, "Just end it."
yeah, it's okay. And I don't think Batman ever got to the awful spin-off though.
No, it didn't. Because that last movie just killed it. It didn't only I brought this up before in the first one. It didn't only kill Batman. It killed comic book movies for a while.
Yeah. And, that's why I said this could either be a really good year for comic movies or a really bad year, because if it happens to turn out, if Batman versus Superman and Civil War turn out bad, and
It'll pretty much be the
Apocalypse,
end.
yeah, if all three of those turn out badly, it's over. I mean, the TV stuff will probably
Yeah,
still keep going, but for movies, I'm almost certain that would be it.
yeah. I mean, DC has all this stuff that's supposed to be coming out, and we're hoping that it'll be good, but we really don't know. It's a big risk that they're taking right now.
Hmm.
And like I said, with them adapting more, actually more toward the actual source material, it should be good. But again, we're still getting movies like Fantastic, where we're like, why was this made?
I had something in my head because I was gonna bring this up after I said maybe other Rob Liefeld creations can come to the big screen, but then it just gone.
I know what that's like.
You know, hmm. So what would you like to see from comic books adapted to movies right now?
I wanted to stay close to the source material.
I know, but what specifically? Is there a
Story, they
franchise
like the
or a
source material.
No, I mean, is there a specific comic book that you want to see he made into a movie?
Um, we mentioned this earlier. I want to see Green Lantern core. I want to see all of them. I want to see the Green Lanterns. I want to see the Yellow Lanterns. I want to see especially the Red Lanterns. I want to see the entire thing go into the Blackest Night and stay to the source material. I was reading that Jeff Johns, the CCO of DC, went to Warner Brothers back in 2000 to go pitch the Green Lantern movie, and they're like, "We really like this, but can we take away the ring?"
It's
And he
like
walked out and never spoke to. It's like we need to stay close to this material. We can't change it. There's a reason why these are so popular, and we can't change.
that, take out the ring? Seriously? Zach?
The material.
Zach, we just lost you for a second there. All right, can you go back and say what you said before? From
Where'd you lose
they
me
were,
at?
they were gonna take out the ring, and then he walked
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah. He literally never spoke to them again about it. And this is what we need to do: is we just need to stay close to the source material, and we need. There's a reason that these are so popular, and we can't take away what makes it what it is.
Yeah. I would personally like to see. Hmm. I'm just trying to think of something that hasn't been adapted already. Something that
I
hasn't
think
already
I
had a
have.
really good adaptation.
I just want like one of the darkest comic book story, like characters with darkest storylines to be like made and just keep badass, like serious but badass, like not all family friendly. Just make a really dark. Just like
And I think
yeah,
with Deadpool that we opened that door.
yeah. So after now we can be more like experimental and more dangerous and let's
Mhm.
just go crazy.
Do you think they're ever going to make a Death of Superman movie?
I would assume so. We've seen Doomsday. I
Mm-hmm.
assume that they're gonna do a Death of Superman. I want to see why they want it. I want to see I want to see Death of Superman and that lead right into, and then have Blackest Night being set up, and then have Superman come back in Blackest Night as the Black Lantern Superman, and
That
I
would
think it'd be a great way to
that would be
do it.
pretty cool. Now, I want to see a Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover between all of the DC stuff. I want to see them bring in DC animated universe. I want to see them and bring in the television universe, the comics universe. Not the comics universe, but you get what I mean. I
Yeah.
want to see them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I want to see them bring in. Just do like that. Do like the Turtles crossover thing did. It have all of them show up, at, or at least have cameos.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. And speaking of DC, I also want to see Martian Manhunter. I know we're getting him in Supergirl. Sadly, that's the first thing we see him on.
Yeah,
But Martian Manhunter would be amazing, and I have a feeling they're not going to do him, and that disappoints me.
it's it's a shame. He's a great character.
He, he's
He'd
a
be
well-written character. He's
yeah.
so cool.
He's a critical part of the Justice League.
hmm And odds are they replace him with Cyborg, so.
Mm. Which he's supposed to be part of the Titans.
Well, Cyborg became part of the Justice League in the New 52, taking Martian Manhunter's spot. And since we now have Cyborg and Batman vs Superman, we're assuming that they're going toward that route.
I that is something I wish they would leave alone because Cyborg needs to be part of the Titans. They need to have the Titans.
hmm I want a Titans TV show. I know they've been working on one, but
Get that Titans TV show going so that they can finally have some sense made of those lines Supergirl said in the first episode.
I'd love to see a Titans movie, maybe, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure how well that would do.
Well, it basically comes down to would it be possible for them to make it better than the TV show?
Exactly. So that's the problem is right now TV's really starting to take over, and because you're able to build up the characters and we're able to build villains more. This is why Killgrave and Kingpin are such great villains we compare to other MCUs because we now have this build up of villains and of just their characterization.
Do you think if Marvel transitioned to entirely just stop making movies and just made Netflix series, do you think they would do just as well?
No,
If not better.
No,
If not better.
no,
no, I didn't even
not at
have
all.
a Netflix account, so
I think the
no.
good. Yeah, the Netflix series are great, but they need their movies. They do.
Yeah.
Movies need to be out there for these big characters. We need these
Net-
big cinematic experiences. But
Netflix and Amazon, whatever they have equivalent, they're doing well and they're getting more numbers, but they're not at this point where they can compete with cinema and film.
exactly,
They've
we've
got a
seen
long way to go.
yeah, they are good. Like they're great, but we still need these movies. And eventually, maybe one day, TV will take over. Because again, we can now that we got this, we can binge watch them. We can watch 10 hours of TV a day if we want, and just watch what we want. But we're not at that point where it's the most accessible thing to where people will actually sit down and watch them. I still have yet to finish Jessica Jones. Like I'm only about halfway through the show because like I just don't have the time.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
like with Netflix, and you have to actively sit down, make time, watch it. Whereas
Well, it's better
they go
than
cinema for the day out.
broadcast television because then you have to plan around that rather than and just it's
Exactly.
there. You can watch it when you want.
I haven't watched live TV besides the Super Bowl. I have not watched live TV in over a year.
Wow.
The only the only active broadcast TV I've watched is Supergirl, and I just watched that so that I can
Yeah,
live tweet #cancel
Yeah, it's-
Supergirl.
yeah.
And
When
Martian
you're
Manhunter.
watching Supergirl, make sure to pay attention to his Twitter. It's actually pretty funny. You're live tweeting it.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think we've about covered everything?
I think so. We've gone pretty off topic. Well,
We've
we,
gone
we've
less
stayed
off
kind of
topic
in
than
topic.
we've gone less off topic than we did for the first Deadpool podcast, because Alexander and I
It's just
literally
quite
just
broad.
we literally just
Yeah.
went ahead and started talking about literally anything to fill the hour.
Yeah, I remember that. You're like, we don't even have like an hour worth of material here. We're just gonna try something. Yeah, I think we did a good job. We covered Deadpool and what
And
this.
other issues around superhero films, which is a big deal at the moment. So
Yeah,
all relate. Fine.
and where Deadpool can lead us now, and I think it was
Fine,
a
fine.
good way to, yeah.
And on that note, I guess we should sign off. I'm Alex Shannon.
I'm Alice Denmark.
And I'm Vlad Pavlov.
See you guys next week, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.